Let's face it, we suck at staying in shape.
But this year, we're going to get our bodies
And our minds into a better place.
Join us on our journey to wellness.
And no matter what happens,
We'll see you in health. Don't call it a comeback. We've literally been here for years.
I've grown. I've changed. Have you changed?
I've been going through changes, like that song says, but not in the direction that I wanted to go.
You're going up.
I feel like when it comes to like a Disney movie, the character I relate with most right now is the house from Up. Like I'm just tying balloons around my waist every day so the scale doesn't show me as many pounds.
If I had to relate myself to a Disney character of kinds, it'd be Flubber.
Well, at least you're transparent, because that's what we want to do on this show. Hey, everybody, I'm Scott.
And I'm Willie.
You may recognize us from our other podcasts. There's a sub for that. And Lovely Lurkers. Well, we're back with another round. Edition number 3.
Show.
Another show.
Every year, Scott and I sit down and we think, what can we do to better our community of people, to better ourselves? And have we really done a good job of bettering ourselves?
I've heard the saying, and maybe I've said it to myself, that you can't help others until you help yourself. And while that sounds selfish, for me, it just means that I have to be in a good enough place to be supportive. And if I can't support myself, then everybody else I'm trying to support, all that foundation will crumble.
And so the goal with this year is we're going all in on our health and wellness, but not to sell you powder, not to sell you snake oil. That's never the goal. I hate listening to shows and podcasts and TikToks where they're like, hey, here's your 5-step guide to getting in shape. And at the end, they don't tell you anything. And all they've done is said, go to my website and buy this thing.
We famously have had 0 ads and only 1 sponsor in the history of our podcast.
Thank you, Jason.
So yes, we are not pitching supplements. We're not pitching workout clothes. We're not pitching anything other than hopefully some inches from our waist. Mm-hmm. And we want to do this together. We want to do as buddies. As you'll find out, this is not the first time we've tried a health journey together. But we're also interested in hearing from you. Like, what have you gone through? What are you going through? And if you're starting or starting over like us, maybe you can glean something positive from this.
Scott, I want you to be vulnerable with me for a little bit.
I'm vulnerable with you all the time.
It feels so weird, like especially when it rubs on my hip. How comfortable are you with your health? Has there ever been a point in your life that you've said, this is it, I feel great?
My health journey has always been defined by how I look, and how I look has affected how I feel. I thought that when I lost a bunch of weight, it would be my kind of like end destination for happiness. It would be like, okay, I'm now 165 pounds. Cool. All I have to do is maintain this for the rest of my life, and I will feel better. But even when I was at my lowest weight, I still didn't like the way I looked. Like, the weight came off in a way that I wasn't expecting. Mm. I was skinny, but I would be more like skinny fat, as people would call it. So clothes fit, but they didn't really look the way that the people who work out all the time and have nice rippling bulgy muscles would wear clothes.
Look at you, Drake.
In a way, like I had done 50% of the goal, and then I still felt bad. So to answer your question, in my 42 years of existence on this earth, I have never felt completely healthy.
I want to echo so much of that. we grew up around a time when boy bands told you to look a certain way. There wasn't anything that screamed body positivity growing up, and I think that's tainted how we think of ourselves. Obviously, this podcast is going to be about us getting physically in shape,
but also mentally. Yeah.
It has to be more, because whether or not you get in the perfect shape you've ever wanted, I think at that point, if you've done nothing to strengthen your foundation, your mental health, you'll still look at the mirror and say, I'm not whole.
We've seen plenty of examples in media of people who are like models. You know, you would look at that person and be like, holy cow, their clothes fit perfectly. They have nice fashion sense. And then they go home and they're like binging and purging, or they're cutting themselves, like all these other things that you don't see underneath the surface. And it's not like it hasn't sunk in for you and I, Willie. We've talked about this. We've had a decade of friendship, and we have probably had 9 years of conversation about how we just don't feel our best. And it really has taken kind of up until the pandemic, when everybody started focusing on mental health, for us to say like, oh, this is probably something we should be incorporating into our wellness routine.
And so let's talk about goals. I want to make sure before we jump into, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, nothing about that feels sustainable. And so what is an ideal? Look at the next year. Where do you want to be sitting?
On February, blah, 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 2025, I would like to have a tried and true workout routine that I can do with my health conditions. I would like a tried and true diet that I have confidence in executing on a week-by-week basis. And I would like to be 30 to 35 pounds lighter than I am right now, in a way that is more muscle than just body fat.
So you also want to go through body composition over the next year.
Yes.
Where you want to lose weight while also gaining muscles in the right spot. And so, as somebody who has gone to the gym, who's thought a lot about this, I'm never going to call myself an expert. You're going to want to shoot for more than 35 pounds of weight loss, of like fat loss, because it's going to be made up by muscle. And so maybe it's less the number and more the measurements.
Sure, and that is something I also have never paid attention to. I have, because of my head and hats, bought a fabric measuring tape. Just because I was like, I want to wear fitted hats. I don't know what my head size
for your
is.
for your hat size?
Yeah, I like hats.
I bought it to measure my nothing.
Your girth?
Yeah, speaking of which, I would love to lose 35 pounds as well. Minimum.
Okay. Minimum.
There was a point about 2.5 years ago when I was living in my last house. I remember stepping on the scale, and I don't know if I told you this, but I just started bawling because it was the first time since college where I stepped on the scale and the number started with a 1.
You were in Wonderland.
I was Willy Wonka, and I was eating chocolate and garbage, but the scale said 199, and it was just like, I was so proud of myself in that moment. And so, yes, getting weight in check for me is super important. I think more important than that, the one that I'm always afraid to start is a really, really good eating routine, because that's the thing that I screw up on every single time.
For this show, we're going to be talking about our accountability with each other. We're going to be talking about like what we did over the past week, where we're at with our numbers, what worked, what didn't. And then we're also going to be introducing some topics to talk about. And I think right there, kind of like what you were saying, like the pitfalls of choosing fast food over a cooked meal, or not weighing your food, or not counting the, grams of protein, all of these things that we're not 100% sure about, but we're definitely going to find out about, and we're definitely going to try and incorporate this year. I think for me, in the health situation that I've been at, I can help you there. I can point you to some things that have worked for me in terms of reducing not only calories, but like other levels, sodium, for people who might have high blood pressure, those types of things. So we're going to be good resources for each other, but I'm also very excited about learning things together.
I think there's so much, and we're definitely going to probably have to have my wife on to talk about mental health at some point.
I would expect nothing less.
Because that's going to be a huge part of this, is setting really clear goals around meditation, around tracking the things that mean the most to us. And so like for you, Scott, if tracking calories is not as important as tracking, something else, go for it. For me, I think it's really important that I track my macros.
Sure.
Because I've never done it.
That's a word. That is a word that people use when they talk about wellness and eating and things that, yeah. Do you have a food scale? Do you have...
I do, yeah.
Okay, good. That's a good place to start. I've read about those. Yeah, I'm tempted to do it. I don't know if it works for me. But the important thing is that a one-size-fits-all approach is not going to be the best thing for us. We're going to have to take individual approaches. What works for Willie and I will not work for you. So you're going to have to take an individual approach. We're going to have to come up with an individual action plan to really set us on the right course for the rest of this journey.
Listen here, you listeners. We've been expected more in our wellness journey, and we need to create a PIP, a performance improvement plan, or we're going to die. Because there's no getting fired from this job.
We're going to get fired from life if we do not improve. Oh, man. I'm excited. It's one thing to do this for, the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. If I've heard it put succinctly, it's like being fit, working out, being mentally well is a life sentence. You do it forever until you can't. I'm very excited to do it with you, my best friend, Willie. And I am really excited to see how we are kind to one another, but also the challenges that we're going to have to kind of like grit out through this journey, because I don't know about you, like I'm not kind to myself when it comes to this. I'm not the kind of person that talks negatively all the time, but I'm just like, you fat bastard. Why are you doing this? Like, you're only hurting yourself, and it's going to take X amount of days now and X amount of time versus the 10 seconds it just took you for that small bit of pleasure. And I know that's not good. Like, I know it's not good. It's not the right way to look at it. It's not the right way to approach it.
I'm the one that edits the show, right? And so I get to look at my face as I edit the show and judge myself.
I have to look at it too. I mean, I can turn the video off right now.
Oh, God. Oh, no. But I do want to say, like, if there's ever a place where there's going to be body shaming, it's only going to be on ourselves. It's not going to be on each other, and it's not going to be on other people. And that's key to this show, is that it's not about saying one way is better than another, or one person's look or goals is the goal that everybody needs to strive for. It's about creating consistency for your own personal growth. And that's why we want you to come along, is we want to hear your stories of, okay, I'm going to give this a shot. Let me give it a go. Let me find a program that I think works for me. And at the end of this, we can share stories about ways in which we succeeded, hopefully.
Hopefully. No, we're going to succeed. It's come health or high water.
Nice.
Thankfully, we don't live in a flood zone, but it's
Sorry, California.
We're going to do this. It's not going to be like, I mean, the only thing that is going to prevent us from doing this, I think we have to commit, Willie. It has to be death.
Mm-hmm.
Our own, not other people's. You know?
Oh, damn it.
Great grandma passes away. I want you to be grieving. I want you to be tears on the treadmill, okay? You wear some non-slip shoes. So where do we start, Willie?
We're idiots. And so instead of us just making something up, I want to go to maybe one of the best medical resources in the world, the Mayo Clinic.
Small little facility in southeastern Minnesota.
It's a local shop. Nobody's really ever heard of it.
Except everybody in the Middle East.
How many people have they
saved?
Like how many
James?
Kings? How many kings have they brought back to health?
Probably every
all of them.
Yeah, I think going back to Charlemagne.
So they talk about 5 steps to get started on a fitness program. And so I want to use these 5 steps as the diving board, the place for us to jump in. And we need to tailor it to our own goals around mental health and eating and physical fitness. So it's not all going to be around physical activity. The first one is measure your fitness level. And so this might be measuring how well are you at tracking your food. Here it says you probably have some ideas of how fit you are, but find out for sure. Learn about your fitness levels, write down scores before you even begin. Use those scores as a benchmark to measure progress, which I think is a good place for us to kind of communicate that we have written down our weight, our measurements for chest and bust, which is apparently different. I had to look it up. Hips and thighs and waist. And then our upper arms, our forearms, and our calves, because everybody loves a good, thick calf.
Never skip leg day.
Never.
Just don't do it.
So, do you want to measure your aerobic or muscular fitness, your flexibility, any of those pieces?
How about, since we're starting out, let's see where we are on a scale. Let's say it's a 10-point scale. Where do you feel you are or have been up until this point at measuring your fitness?
At measuring it?
Uh-huh. Anything.
2.
You're a 2. Okay. I would say I am a 0.5 or maybe a 1 because the way I measure my fitness is the way my clothes fit.
Okay. Yeah, I was expecting you to go higher. All right, so we're starting at the bottom of the scale.
Mm-hmm. Let's be honest, Willie. The fitness journey that we've been on till this point is, can I fitness in my mouth?
There's a lot you can fit in your mouth, man. I've tried. He's good at it. Step number 2 is we need to design our fitness plan. And so we're probably going to save this category to next week.
Yeah, it's going to take some time for us to come together and come up with some sort of foundation. Something that's easy and we can stick to, and then we can build off it as it becomes too easy.
Here's some high-level things around designing your fitness plan we should keep in mind as we start thinking about it over this next week, okay? Think about your fitness goals. Are we starting a program to lose weight? Is it another reason, such as training for a marathon? Like, do we have something that
Never.
we're driving for?
Good God, no.
God, never. Remember when our friend tried to get us to sign up for a half marathon? Yeah. That was the most uncomfortable I've ever been in a coffee shop.
I have never wanted to run more than a 5K. Like, if something is chasing me for more than a 5K, I'm fine dying.
I don't even want to run the dishwasher. All right, let's so some other things. Make a balanced routine. You should be getting at least 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity in a week.
I think we're going to find in our studies, too, that there's people that will say that is not enough. People will say that is maybe too much. Because I've heard you're supposed to get 60 minutes a day.
Mm-hmm.
If you really, really want to see improvement.
This is the minimum. This is the minimum bar based on the Mayo Clinic, not us idiots. It also says do strength training exercises for all major muscle groups at least 2 times a week.
My mind jumps to, why don't I just do a total body workout every single time I work out? And we'll talk about that in the future too.
Yeah. Pace yourself. Go slow. It is okay to take one step in and a couple steps back, but progress. Move forward and not backwards. Don't stop, but aim to increase your activity level by no more than 10% a week.
Like the hokey pokey, that's what it's all about.
Build activity into the daily routine. So we need to, God, I got to go to bed on time.
Which is difficult. We'll talk about those challenges too. The struggle is real for many reasons, for our individual lives and for this. We're going to do it, Willie. We're going to do it.
The last
Ain't no
one
stopping
here,
us now.
Put it on paper.
Can it be digital paper? So we're environmentally friendly?
That's what I love about this show. This is our accountability buddies. Accountability buddies?
Yes.
We are going to share intimate details of each other, internet appropriate,
maybe even photos,
for the rest of the world, to hold ourselves accountable so that we can get out of our comfort zone a little bit and progress forward towards what we really want.
And no deep fakes, Willie, all right? When we post those pictures, I don't want to see you looking like Brad Pitt. I know. I can see right now. It's not real.
I don't want to see the like before and after where it's really before and change the light bulbs and before.
So that's a good way to start. I am excited for this. Thank you, Mayo Clinic, and all the doctors and everything that you do for us and for all those rich people. Appreciate you. But let's just say, for anybody who's still listening at this point, there's nothing really special about you and I. We're semi-privileged to have, the level of employment that we have, but we wouldn't call ourselves rich. Pay no mind to that fancy headset behind Willie there. Just, it's not there. Block it. He's going to return it. I'm an optimist 98% of the time when I'm not suffering from debilitating health issues. So it's going to be a struggle for me. And I realize this. I accept this. This is going to be one of the hardest things I've ever done. Period. Full stop. I can't meet the same criteria as Willie. Like, I can't work out as hard as him because I have a disability, which I will talk about in future episodes. So for anybody who's listening and thinking like, yeah, this sounds great, but like, I don't think I can do it. I want to let you know right now, I believe that you can. And it's not just like saying, oh, if I can do it, anybody can do it. No, there is a will and a way for everybody. If you've made it this far, it's because you want what we want. And that's to get better. And I feel like this is...
You want to see us fail, which will also be funny. But we're not. We're not going to fail.
It's not going to happen.
Scott's the optimist. I'm sad.
So yes, I think for every show, Willie, until we get copyright takedowns, I think we should post from the Avengers whatever it takes, no matter the cost, like whatever they say. I don't know. I'm trying not to get sued by Bob Iger right now. Because that's got to be our mantra for this whole year. And we're just doing this for a year. Like, we're going to see where we're at in February 2025. We might change the show. We might do something else. But this is our goal. This is our fight song.
I have a photo of Rachel Platt. Was that her name?
Platten. Yeah.
Remember when we went and saw her in concert?
I have photos. Yeah. We were standing next to each other.
I swear to you, she was looking me right in the eyes.
What do you think she was saying? What do you think she was thinking?
She was fighting for us. For us.
For us. She wasn't thinking
No. Hold on. I want to make this crystal clear. When I say us, I mean her and me.
Oh.
You were just there.
I thought she was just subtly pointing to security. Like, that's the guy. Make sure he doesn't.
That's why they were talking
get
to me.
Any closer. Yeah. All right, friend. Let's reach through the camera there. Do a little handshake. That's the wrong hand. Is it?
Oh, no.
Right hand. There we go. Yeah, there we go. We are committing to this. We're committing to ourselves. We're committing to each other. And we're committing to you, listener.
Yes, you. Paul.
Joel. Jason.
Nick. And everybody else.
And everybody who we didn't name right there. So, please, help me help you.
That's our show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for starting this journey with us.
Next week, we'll be back. Hey, come here. Get a little closer. Do that thing with the slider. Yep. Be kind to yourself this week, all right? And we'll see you in health.